The Boundary Park Alert System is sponsored by Pendle New Tech, a family-run Lancashire business you can rely on for everything fire safety related, including supply and installation, maintenance, testing, certification, alarms, risk assessments, like I said, anything fire safety related. But what do I know? Visit pendlenewtech.com and they'll sort you right out. Check the show notes for more information.
This is a test of the Boundary Park Alert System.
Was the sound of Oldham Athletic returning to the EFL, coming out at Milton Keynes. And Andy Halliwell, we were both there to see it. I didn't see you yesterday, but we're back where we belong in the Football League. How did it feel?
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? It was a good day out. Really enjoyed it. It was nice not to be congregated around some shed in the middle of some southern bus stop and allotment. It was nice to be in a football stadium, but it was good to be back, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. And we've got a new season. We've got sponsors this season, which is a bit weird, Andy, but it's just the way it's the way it goes, isn't it? It's just the way it goes. Dave's been at me, Tory Dave is like, come on, you need to capitalise on this. So finally buckled. So so we've got the game to talk about. We've got clips from things you've been telling me we've got clips for. I don't know. We've got Latic Mind. We've got a guest. So should we get cracking with the guest?
Yeah, we do the guest. Are we doing questions this season?
Yeah, why not?
Well, we've probably done the questions before because it's a returning guest, but I think we're going to retire one question.
He's not been on his own though.
Oh, that gives it away.
He does a bit, but yeah, he was with his partner in crime last time.
All right, when was your first game, fan guest?
My first game would have been probably around 2002, maybe. Couldn't tell you which game it was, but I vividly remember Clyde Wynard. He was the one that sticks out in my head quite a bit. So yeah,
I mean that would have been a good season, wouldn't it? You'd have been coming around the Dowie year, right?
Yeah. So I'd have. I mean, I wouldn't go in every week, but I was only like 2 at the time, or 3, and then my dad first took me to some reserve games to see how I was, and I ended up running through the aisles of the main stand, banging the seats together. So I don't know how much he took me after that.
Oh well, some things haven't changed.
I suppose, yeah.
We're going to retire the question. What is your favourite Latics related memory? So, what is your what's the question we're going to ask, Matt? We did say this, and I've now gone forgotten.
I don't know. I can't remember. What was the other one? Favourite players?
Favourite player? Yeah, go on. First favourite player.
First favourite player?
Yeah.
Well, Wynard. I remember my dad come home one day, and I was sat in front of the telly. I was only obviously a very young gun. And I was chanting Clyde Nannard because he'd scored an hat-trick against someone in front of the telly. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then give us a little known fact about yourself.
Well,
go with the obvious one.
The most obvious one is obviously I've been part of the Atleticos going on, what are we on now? 8 years now. 8.5 years I've been doing it.
And is your voice always that croaky, like permanently now, as a result, or is that just as a result of yesterday?
No, well, it's going to be a result of the rest of the season, but I think the 15 pints probably had something to do with it as well. But
so go on then. Go on then. Which one are you?
I'm Cameron.
Cameron, yeah. How are you doing? I saw you from a distance yesterday, Cameron. I was just to your right, a bit further up. Saw you and your motley crew down there. Making as much noise as possible. Andy, I didn't see you. You were somewhere up behind me, I think. But
No,
judge on the
I was to
photograph
your
that you
left.
took.
I was to your left, apparently.
Right.
Yeah. I could see the
Yeah.
pictures that you posted, so I worked out I was to your left. I was directly
Yeah.
behind Cameron, a few
Yeah.
rows behind. Yeah.
So 8 years ago, we've been in League One then, Cameron.
Yeah, so my first, I know, first started going with them and met Ryan. So I met Ryan at Shrewsbury away in 2017. We got beat 1-0, and I'm pretty sure Freddie Ladapo scored for Shrewsbury. So then since then, it was January, February 2017. So I've been going since then, yeah. Well, with the Atleticos, obviously.
Yeah. And obviously, Andy, we're going to look ahead to this season. We'll talk a bit about yesterday, but first podcast back after Wembley. I mean, and the playoffs, that whole month. I mean, I've spoke about it before, and we've spoke about it before, but like the way that so much came together, and I think, Cameron, with you being on the podcast as well, it's well worth mentioning the way that 8 years come into fruition. You must have been so proud of, you did your T4 against Halifax. Just how do you feel as a collective of people who started it off? How did that last few? Because I know we spoke about how we felt, but how did you feel as a collective in that last 3 games and at Wembley and the journey you've been on? Can you summarise that for us?
I mean, everybody saw the Around the Grounds vlog. It was obviously very emotional, but as a group, specifically the Halifax game, because we'd planned and designed the TIFO and put so many hours. I think we did a post. I think we put like 27 hours in that week to get it done, and we actually finished it as the turnstiles opened on the day of the game. And the trial runs we did, like none of them went well. And Ryan was it was all getting a bit stressful. And I just said, mate, whatever happens, happens. Like, we've just got to roll with it. And it was it felt fitting because Ryan's obviously now taken a step back because he's been.
He was there yesterday.
Yeah, right at the front row.
He said he's taken a step back, and we all said, "Well, we'll see how long you lasted." And obviously, he lasted not even a minute into the first game of the season, so we'll see what happens. He calls himself the accountant now, so we'll see what happens. But especially for him, I mean, obviously, he's become one of my best friends outside of football. But that to see it unfold, obviously, what we planned, it was the biggest TIFO we'd done. We had loads of helping hands. Like even Sue Schofield at one point was helping us, like trying to pull it all up and before the game. It just that obviously then in the game and the atmosphere. I mean, we could barely even control it. We just sort of went with it, which was fantastic. It just felt like a fitting end to what had been like especially with me and Ryan as the two that most people know, I suppose. Like I felt more for him really, and then obviously we did York, which was just, I think everybody was a bit perplexed by that, and then Wembley, the way Wembley went, and then we were saying going up to Wembley, like what it would mean to us as a group. To obviously Latics have not been to Wembley in 30 odd years. We've not been as a group, and then for him to have his technically final game and bow out like that was just, I mean, you can't put it into words. It was still getting goosebumps now just talking about it because we've been and we've done it. You can't quite believe it.
It was kind of like, I think, from what you're saying there, and after 8 years, it was kind of like phase 1 complete, I think. Like, I mean, that atmosphere against Halifax was the best atmosphere I've ever experienced at Boundary Park. It was the most colourful Boundary Park's ever been in my time. And that's in no small part to what you guys have built up and what you guys have done. And so you've well done, first of all. Congratulations, it's been fantastic. But it is kind of phase 1 complete. We're back in the Football League. You've set a standard now, and also I feel like it's up to the rest of the fans, because I think what happened was the rest of the fans at Boundary Park really bought into it. You kind of like lit the fuse, if you like, and it's just shown what's possible at Boundary Park. And now I think if we can carry on and take that forward into the future, into big games in the future, it's certainly not going to be possible to do that kind of thing every week. But it just shows the power of fans, doesn't it? And I guess that's what you were always after achieving from the beginning, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we spent years, sort of struggling. Like we were struggling. I mean, there's photo evidence, and we played Wigan in 2018 when we went down. I think there was like 30 of us in the corner in the Rochdale Road end, and then it wasn't really until Sheridan, well, the season we went down from League Two, that it got a bit of traction, obviously because of like the ownership and things that were happening around it and stuff. But then we moved to the middle behind the goal, which I think was probably the best thing we could have done, which was great. I mean, at the time, not a lot of people were happy with it because that's where the season ticket seats were, but I'm sure they'll be fine with it now. But then, yeah, it just sort of took off. And then once, obviously, we got relegated in the end that season, but one that will always stand with me was Torquay away, that first game in the National League. We walked in the stand and everybody was like, we got like sort of a stand innovation. Everybody was clapping, cheering us, coming up to us, shaking hands. People were asking us for photos in Torquay, and we were just like sort of dumbfounded by it. But to see, especially Halifax, to see it like that, like the whole ground come together, and quite easily the best atmosphere that's been at Boundary Park. It did feel like all the years we've put into doing different things, struggling at the start, trying to get sort of people on board, get attraction within the group, to then have the entire ground sort of with you as one and sort of near enough following your lead was definitely a special moment. And I think you're right, it's definitely phase one complete, where like we went yesterday and I could see when I was looking up, you've got people looking at us to not sort of guidance, but everybody's now, rather than maybe us as a group, it's just a fan base. It's not us behind the rocket. It's everybody now. Like, I know we are there, and we obviously are our group, but it feels like everybody's a part of it, and we're just one massive fan base now.
Yeah, and yesterday was an indication of that, wasn't it? Our first game back. I mean, if we hadn't have made noise yesterday, it would have been absolutely dead in that first half. We really were bringing it was the Oldham boys bringing all the noise yesterday. And I think Andy, in terms of like phases and stuff like that, and what Cameron's just said, feels like a bit like that with us, doesn't it, as well? I think not with the podcast, but with PTB, with OASF, with the whole fans, it's like, that's what I think the emotion was at coming out at Wembley, wasn't it? Was like, after everything, that whole phase, it's complete now. We're back. Anything that happens to the club now in terms of, getting, I can't impossibly imagine us getting relegated. I said this to Harriet the other day. I said, imagine this is the worst thing you could possibly imagine would be getting relegated again this season. Imagine that. Imagine just that. I don't for 1 minute think that's likely, but it's drawn a line under all that previous history, all the negativity, the sliding down, and the sort of the uncontrollable situation that we were in. Drawn a line under it, and that attendance yesterday, Andy, I think could just kind of prove the optimism and the positivity that everybody's feeling.
I've been to MK Dons probably 4 times, and I reckon about 400, 500 is the maximum amount we've taken in that time, and that's acceptable enough going that distance anyway. So, yeah, 1,800 there made a racket. It shows the positivity around the place, and there does feel a genuine connection between supporters and it's great to see. I think I listened back to the phone in the week, and I think some of the sentiment on the phone from people like Gaz, who some of the fans who have been a bit sort of tetchy, negative, vocal at various points over the last three years or so. I think possibly that pressure has been relieved, hasn't it, a bit? Because if you try and understand why people were getting tetchy, it's because we weren't beating teams that on paper we should probably be turning over, and it's a difficult league to get out of, and we've done really well to get out of it. I think we are. I don't know whether this is true, but someone told me this. I haven't actually fact checked it, but I think we've been promoted with the lowest points total ever from that league. So you're actually coming into it with in theory, the worst team ever to get promoted out of that division. Like you, I don't think we'll be anywhere near relegation either. I think we'll be comfortably mid-table. I think yesterday proved, to me at least, that we can compete with teams at the top end. We're probably missing a bit, which we'll come on to in a minute. But I think there was everyone on the terrace yesterday was just relaxed, weren't they? I know it's first game of the season, there's nothing to worry about yet, but even if we'd have got beaten yesterday, people were still pretty relaxed. It doesn't matter as much now as it did a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. It mattered more then because we knew we needed to get out of that league in order to be able to reset. And now you can reset in a little bit more comfortable fashion, can't you?
Yeah. And even like over this, like obviously we take a break over the summer, and Cameron, you'll know this. It's well earned, isn't it? When you're so involved and you put so much time and effort into Latics, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I do still go on the hashtag and stuff, but I'm not on it like all the time, and I don't really post it. I'm just checking it out. And there's people who really get hooked into the speculation and the rumors and that. And Andy, you send quite a few of those things around in the WhatsApp group and stuff. I tend to just be like, well, we'll see when there's a signing, there's a signing. Until then, we'll wait and see. But when you think back to some of the pre-seasons we've had, where we've barely got any players, the managers just changed, and we've had some calamitous pre-seasons, haven't we? And this is only the second pre-season that I've ever come into. Obviously, the first for you, Cammy, but where we've had a promotion, like Andy, and same for you. We're not young men anymore. We are very much middle-aged men, and in our lifetimes, it's only the second time we've ever gone into a pre-season with a promotion behind us. And I'd forgotten what it felt like. And you're right, you could just relax a bit and just. You can think to yourself, you know what, we've got a good manager here. Things are on the up. We know that because we've just been promoted. That tells you everything you need to know. We know that last season, the quality of the main players that came in were much better. You like some Manny Month and Regan Ogle, and who's the other one I'm thinking of? Caprice and players like that who've come in. So you're thinking again straight away. You're thinking he's going to sign good players. They're going to come in. They're going to improve the squad and improve the team. And from what we saw yesterday, there didn't look to be anybody who made the debut that you'd be worried about. It's time to hear from our partner for this episode, Build Budget Expert. If you're planning building work, you may be worried about what to do next, how to choose the right architect or builder, and have concerns about going over your budget, a bit like Mickey Mellon. Build Budget Expert offers an affordable, personalised service that can guide and support you all the way from first idea to completion, helping you stay organised and prepared at every stage, save money, and importantly, reduce stress. And for all Latics fans, there's a Build Budget Expert promotion, 10% off. Just email hello@buildbudgetexpert.com and quote, "We're on our way. That's buildbudgetexpert.com. Cammy, how did you assess the debutants and yesterday's performance all around?
I think it was sort of maybe, especially after watching it, maybe sort of expected. Like, we went there. It was quite a low block. It was like a typical away performance, wasn't it? Especially under Mellon. I don't think anybody had a bad game at all. It looked 7 or 8s across the board. I thought Woods, for me, stood out a bit. Just how calm he was on the ball in every situation. Rarely give the ball away. Seemed to dictate it quite a bit. Conlon impressed me, considering some of the times last season where he just seemed a bit slow sometimes. But yeah, I thought we did all right. I mean, it was a very even game. Nothing either side. They had one shot in the first half that they blazed over the bar, and we had one where Drummond, I thought, probably should have got on target, but he seemed to snatch at it. Other than that, we never really looked in any danger. But on the other hand, we never really created enough probably to get at them. Like Fondop had half a chance, didn't he? Which he had Hammond running down the outside of him, and he took the shot on, which you probably expect from every striker. But I think we did all right. Like, there's absolute, considering they're title favourites comfortably, and they'll get into the swing of things. You can see what they were trying to do. It just obviously didn't pull off for them as much. But after 10 games, they'll probably be a force. But I think we'll be fine. Like Andy said, I'm expecting mid-table. Anything top half for me is a decent season. But like you said before, the pressure is completely off. Like, we're not going into games maybe against like Barrow and thinking, well, if we don't lose this, it's just a massive piss boil. Like, it's not. Like, if we get beat, we get beat. Everybody is behind the players, and like Mellon said, they're going to need us when it's not going so well, because there's going to be times in the season where it doesn't go so well, because it's technically new territory for us again. Not as fans, but the club as a whole is completely different. Like, it's a different atmosphere, a different place to be, and obviously new players coming in have got a gel. So I think we'll be fine. But it was a bit of a, it was one goal was probably going to win it, but it was very even.
Defenses came out on top yesterday, Andy. I think it's fair to say. I think it was kind of like it kind of matched each other. Like we did to them what they did to us, really, when it came down to it. And there was very few chances. The goal that would have settled it would have been the penalty that they should have had. It was an absolute stone wall. We had a shout down the other end, but got booked for diving, which I think was fair, to be honest. I don't think that was a foul either. But yeah, we really could. The refereeing wasn't any better than the National League yesterday, but he really helped us out, didn't he, with that penalty, because he just fell into him and cleaned him out, didn't he?
It did. I wasn't sure at the time whether it was a penalty. It was at the far post, so I couldn't quite tell whether he got to the ball or not. But on the replay, I've seen it. He pulls him to the ground, so we got away with that, didn't we? We did get away with it, really. But yeah. This is the kind of this is the thing, really. A lot of people were losing their head when Raglan left, and Raglan was really good last season for us in National League. He sometimes he got bullied a little bit, I think, but on the whole, he was a good player for us. But you can kind of see why they signed Daniels, can't you? I know he would have given that penalty away yesterday, but him and Month are absolute monsters at the back. It's going to take some real quality to beat them, I think. And bear in mind, MK Dons, they signed, what's he called? The lad they signed from Bolton. They paid three-quarters. Yeah, Aaron Collins. They signed £750,000 minimum. They paid for him, pushing to £1 million in League Two, and he didn't really get a sniff. They handled him really well. I mean, at the other end, I thought Mike Fondop had a pretty good game leading the line. He won a lot of headers. He put himself about. He couldn't do much more, ask much more of him. He just lacks the quality required in the final third sometimes to put us away. And again, Mellon could easily have gone with like some horrible 4-5-1 low block, but actually he went with wingers. He went with two strikers. So when I saw the team sheet, I was like, oh, fair enough. We're going to have a go. I was expecting one up front. It would have been a 4-5-1 or something. And like you said, Drummond just lacks that composure as well in front of goal, doesn't he? Snatched that one in the first half, the one in the second half, that lovely ball from Hawks. If he'd have got that under control, he would have had the pace to get away. We might come on to this, but I'm thinking as that ball goes through, Norwood would have controlled that. Maybe he wouldn't have had the pace to get away, but maybe we'll come on to talking about it, players who we've let go and signed, or whatever, in a minute. But yeah, it's a pretty good start. I'm quite happy with a point away. There'll be a lot of teams will get turned over there.
Yeah, definitely. And the players who did come in and make the debut, they look really assured. You're not looking at them and thinking, oh God, what's the story with this fella? No. They were all comfortable. I mean, the standout moment for me for Woods was that tackle, that sliding block tackle that he did in the first half. Really good tackle. That was last ditch stuff. But and look, they had some big lads as well. And in the penalty area on set pieces and corners, you've got Daniels, Month and Fondop in there. You've got some really good height and you need it. I remember when we were last in League Two, we were getting, because obviously we had a really badly put together squad, but we got absolutely bullied by teams like Harrogate and Crewe because they had really big players in this division, and it is a physical division. It isn't, it's a step up from the National League in terms of physicality as well. I think you've got big lads, fitter lads, better footballers. It's a hard division, and you can see Milton Keynes might be favourites, but they're not doing it just like with all fancied hands. They've got big, strong lads in there, so you do need to be able to mix it in this division. And I think that we've got that stature. I noticed a tweet from Gaz yesterday where he was talking, and I agree with him. We've not got anyone. Well, we didn't have anyone yesterday who gets on the ball in midfield, and this is not something we've had for a while, really, and really drives with it. Like gets us moving quickly and breaks through the opposition lines and gets players on the back foot. Pet does it occasionally, but we were kind of lacking that a little bit. I think Jorgen Nathan was kind of that player, wasn't he, as well? He would get on the ball deep and he would go forward with it. So you know, and then you got to get it out wide and use the wide players. But it's interesting, like you said, Andy. It's looks like a different setup, and we'll see how the team grows this season, because undoubtedly it will.
I mean, I've seen a few people saying, I think Brad said it on the phone in the week, he wasn't sure whether we were weaker going into that first game than we were in the playoffs. I thought that was a bit of a stretch. You think about, we've signed 10 players. Pett, Drummond, Daniels, Morris, Hawks, Hannon, Leake, Payne, Woods and Stevens. And we've let 11 go. That's quite a big turnover of players. We've not just fiddled with it. He's actually rebuilt that, and a lot of those players will start. We probably are one or two short. And like you said, someone driving forward through the middle, maybe in a 10 role or something like that might be what's required. But we're not finished. There are players we've got money set aside, and there will be players coming in this week, I believe. So it's not done yet. I think we'll be in good shape. I really do. I'm not at all worried. Well, let's play. This was Darren Royal just before the Milton Keynes game.
Had a chance to stop. Really, it's been a really busy time since promotion, with getting the club aligned back in with everything to do with the EFL, and then obviously our academy status was restored. So it's been non-stop for the staff. They've worked tirelessly over the summer, and it's brilliant to be here. We've now not got to be presumptuous in any way, and we've got to establish ourselves and then make ourselves contenders as well. And if we can do that in one season, brilliant. If not, then there's a plan in place.
What is the next aim? Is it League One? But is it kind of not immediately it has to be League One? It could be, a 2-3 year plan or something like that.
I think you've got to plan immediately. You've got to set your objectives and your challenges high. Otherwise, you're in jeopardy if you're just saying we're going to survive. So, we want to try and get into the playoffs. It's going to be tough, and we don't know. Obviously, it's a new squad with a lot of new players in, and there's a transfer window now. And, that was one of the biggest benefits of the National League. You don't have a transfer window, so there's been a great pre-season, a lot of hard work. But I'm sure every other team in this league has done that as well. Yeah, the manager and the head of recruitment and the coaching staff are happy with the summer moves and the lads that have been retained. There's a couple more that we'd ideally like to bring in. And we've got 2 in every position then, so there's a clear strategy around how he wants to play with the players he's brought in, and obviously the manager's got a phenomenal record and knows what he's doing.
Still trying to get another striker in before the window does shut.
I think every club is, isn't it? If you get agents coming on to you saying what do you need, and I'll just laugh and say 25 goal striker.
Darren, is the transfer budget closed in terms of a fee for a player? Or is that where Mickey's looking at now?
It depends on the fee. It depends on the player. And obviously the salaries. It's a lot tighter in this division with salary cap, SCMP. The process that we have in the EFL with Leagues 1 and 2, so you've got your budget, and obviously you've got 22 heads. That's the other thing, we can only register 22 players.
And how easy or difficult has it been, the fact that you are Oldham and everybody knows that, and then you've got promotion the way you got promotion last year, which was a fantastic achievement? How easy or difficult has it been
in terms of getting players in?
Yes.
The club's profile and desirability, if you like, gone up. It's playing league football is a great thing, isn't it? There's only 72 clubs in the EFL, so there's a real limit on the number of places if you look at it that way, with 22 spots at each club. So we've got every player that we've wanted to get, and we've retained every player that we wanted to retain. So the manager's happy.
Where did you nick that from, Andy? We need to say.
That's BBC GMR before the game yesterday.
Or BBC Radio Manchester, as it's been known for quite a long time.
I live down south. I've got it what I want.
Yeah. I mean, it sounded there, Cammy, like he's got who he wanted and he's got rid of who he wanted. So Darren and the club seem to be happy.
Well, I didn't hear it.
Oh, did you not?
No,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that is.
But yeah, I mean, they seem assured, don't they? They know where they're going. They know what they want, and then evidently it's been seen before. They're not going to panic if they miss one or they miss two. Like Mellon's, like I said, constantly, hasn't he? Recruitment doesn't stop for them. So I think it will always be like that whilst he's here. At least they'll just constantly look for somebody that will may improve the squad. I think they've recruited all right. I think they've got a bit of experience in Daniels. He's been in this league before. Woods, and then they've brought young, maybe unproven players in the league like Stevens, who I was quite excited to see yesterday. Him and Hawks. I'm really excited to see what they can do. So they're not gonna. They won't panic, and I think they've absolutely set us up to. It's a good starting point. We obviously still need a few places to fill, maybe just even a bit of backup, but we've done all right.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the one position. I mean, it's interesting to him say all the players have gone that they didn't want to retain, because some of those names were listed as in negotiation, weren't they? And then didn't appear to get any negotiation afterwards. So possibly, I don't know how they viewed some of that. But obviously, the big talking point is James Norwood, isn't it? Probably out of all of those, we don't have a gun striker. We need probably a striker that can guarantee you 20 goals in League Two. They've set money aside for one, but they had one that they could have renegotiated terms with, and they've made a conscious decision to not retain James Norwood and leave him, let him go. And he made all the overtures, didn't he, that he wanted to stay. So I just think that's probably the debatable point, is that I think he would have stayed. I don't think I don't think he wanted to go to Fleetwood. I think he wanted to stay at Latics.
Well, no disrespect to Fleetwood, but there are bigger clubs out there that you would think that a fit James Norwood would attract the attention of, and he's gone to Fleetwood. Maybe it's because Latics fan Pete Wild just really wanted to sign him because he was his favourite striker for Latics. Who knows? But so it feels to me like he's gone there because there's a bit of a gamble on him still, and I think that we needed to put our money into less of a gamble. I think that's the issue. I think we all said if we could guarantee James Norwood was going to be fit next season and firing and playing every game, you'd take him, wouldn't you, all day long? But there's obviously a big question mark over his fitness.
Well, there is a short clip that I've clipped from his first interview at Fleetwood. If you want to play that now and just have a listen to the context of that.
You may or may not hear this.
What was it about Fleetwood Town that made you come here for your next step in your footballing career?
I just think speaking to the manager, his plans, the way he plays, he's very sure in the way he wants to play. I think that's been a big change for me over the last couple of years. It's all planned out. It's tactical. It's how we're going to defend in a shape and how we want to attack. Sorry,
it's okay.
And it's just nice to be part of a structured place, really.
Was that key for you then in terms of coming to a place like that?
Yeah, 100%. The training, the standard of training, the drills that we're doing just is a massive thing for me. Keeps me excited, keeps me working hard. So it's been really interesting for me to come back to a place where training is really enjoyable and you're almost working towards a game. It's at a good tempo. I really enjoy the drills that we're doing. It's just been a big change, yeah.
Last season ended on a quite a high for you, Wembley and scoring. Just reflecting that day, because it must have been an unbelievable feeling for you and the club as well. Yeah,
it was an unbelievable day all round. The way we did it was special. It's a great group of lads, really special group of lads that I was glad to be a part of and be able to help in the way that I did. And then football's football. You move on, you find a new challenge, and we go again. I love playing with players that listen and take advice, and they're just really easy to work with, and I end up sort of thinking that the partnership flourishes.
You've spoken about obviously your hunger to play and be in a new squad and score goals. What are your targets and aspirations for the season?
I just want to prove to everyone that I'm not injury prone. I was unfortunate last year. I came back a few times a little bit too early, trying to do the club and the manager a favour. And it killed me a little bit. My aspiration is just to continue what I've done for the last 7, 8, 9 years and just play as many games as possible and score as many goals as possible. I'm fit, I'm in good shape, and I'm starting to really come along in terms of match speed and doing little bits within the game.
You met some of the Karami yesterday on the ferry coming to Isle of Man. You look forward to playing in front of them at Highbury?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, home attendance and fans are so important to the club. They get behind you, they push you on, and ultimately that's why we were successful last year at Oldham.
Andy, you were grinning a bit there. Why? Tell us why you were grinning. Did you hear that, Cammy?
I didn't hear it, no. I don't know what's happening. I think, was it his interview on the official?
Yeah.
It was the one where he talks about the training sessions, weren't it?
That's right.
That's the one.
Yeah. I remember watching it at the time and thinking, well, if you've come out after Wembley and expressed quite openly that you'd like to stay and you want to carry on, and obviously the players ended up in envy that night, didn't they? But we were they turned up at the main stand in the players' lounge. We were there. And he was talking to Luke Rothwell there as well, basically saying the same thing about his contract. So if he's coming out and saying that he really wants to stay, but then when he signs for another team saying, like, basically the training, it's a cheap shot, isn't it? That the training wasn't good enough, things like that. It's just like, well, why express you want to stay somewhere so badly if your opinions of it were that it was just not as good? It's an odd one.
I think you've got to read between the lines, haven't you? I think possibly part of the reason that the club didn't want to retain him is because he was a difficult manage and he would cause some problems in and around the club. And it wasn't for his footballing ability. Maybe it was partly to do with his injury record, although he did have a go there at the club and Mickey Mellon for the fact that he came back from injury early to try and help out the club and what have you. It's partly to do that. It's partly to do with him and his personality. And I think you've just got to read between the lines. The thing that's a real shame for me, I'm really torn on this subject matter, because when he did the interview straight after the Wembley game, he sort of expressed an understanding of how difficult it had been to support Oldham. It's a difficult club to support with the lack of success that they've had, and are really, really interested to see where this club goes now, because it's going in the right direction. He wanted to stay. I think he'd begun to understood us and kind of embrace working for the club. He definitely wasn't happy to begin with in his first season, and obviously the club have taken the decision that they don't want his character around, and I think that's the reading between the lines of what's going on. But it kind of brings us back to then, if you're not going to take the potential of signing a James Norwood for this season, then who are you going to replace him with? Because if we don't get somebody in who is maybe as good or has the opportunity to score that many goals, then it's going to be difficult for it to see us scoring many. We've played 4 games in pre-season, and our first game of the season we've drawn a blank in 3 of them. that tells you where the problem is. Yeah,
but when I look at the way we play, and I look at the again, it's kind of like, well, it's not so much about the way we play, but I think when you take Fondop out of that team, and then you're looking at who we've got to go up front, you're thinking, I don't know if it's just a bit of the old-fashioned my age or something, but you kind of feel like you need a big man up front. Like I don't feel like we've got the sort of the slick passing, intricate skill and ability to sort of just pass through teams and dazzle them and confuse them and dizzy them and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like, if you bring Fondop off, who do you bring on like to play? Like Drummond's up front, you don't bring Waters on to play next to Drummond, and you've got Harrott, and it's just kind of like, is the signing that we bring in, is it going to be somebody with a bit more of a physical stature but a bit more of an eye for goal, do you think? Or is it going to be, because Fondop carried us last season because we didn't have enough strikers, but also because we needed that focal point up front? And what do you reckon, lads? Do you think the next signing will be more in the Norwood mould, or will it be more in the sort of big target man alternative for Fondop mould?
I think he'll go experience again, to be honest. I don't think there's any there will be aspirations to obviously get in the playoffs and do really well, but because the expectation's not there, this season seems more like Andy said before, a bit of a rebuild, a bit of a stability, like just spend 1 or 2 seasons just confirming your place, like not really in any trouble, but looking like you're getting the right building blocks in place, So I think he will go experience up front, probably somebody over 30, as we know that's our we love somebody in that age bracket, don't we? But I mean, he probably sees Drummond and maybe Harrott as, the nippy ones that will get in and around defenders. And like you said, Matt, the way we play, we're not always zipping it about and trying to, on the half turn with defenders. So I do think he'll go with another big man, an experienced man. But just on the last bit about Norwood, if we'd have kept him, he is a very expensive player to keep in the squad, especially when you've only got a limited number of squad players that you can have. So do you risk spending another massive wage to keep somebody that you can't guarantee is going to play 35 games a season?
I mean, I believe he's on a fraction of the wage he was on at Latics at Fleetwood. So I'm not sure we would have needed to have paid what we were paying him in his previous 2-year contracts to have kept him. But I mean, if he's injured, it is still expensive anyway. So I kind of agree your point.
Yeah, but it was kind of like, it seems to me like it was kind of him or Garner, because Garner's an older, is injury prone, experienced, but and was magnificent also during the playoffs, even more magnificent in the run of the games. But he's obviously the kind of character that you want in and around the dressing room, whereas Norwood, like you say, maybe not. So anyway, the line is drawn under Norwood. I would just like to say, we were talking about this as we were walking down towards the stadium yesterday, and somebody overheard us and sort of started joining in. But I'm of the mind then. What do you reckon, Cameron, as one of the leaders of the chanting and whatnot? I think he deserves a nice round of applause and accolade when we play Fleetwood. We play him in a few weeks. We might play. Be good to acknowledge what he's done, and then during the game, I think we need to give him a lot of stick. And if he scores, if he scores, he's gonna love it. He'll celebrate in front of us if he scores. I totally see that. So I think we definitely it'd be nice to show him some respect and gratitude, but I think we have to give him some stick and all good natured, but the way that Josh Stone's got a bit of stick, we've got to give him a bit of stick, haven't we?
Well, I mean, just out of interest, if you're going back to who could they possibly sign? I mean, if you think about the players that have trialled with us over the summer, we've seen Alex Baker, who's an under-21 from Blackburn up in Scotland, Jake Bickerstaff from Wrexham, who's just gone to Cheltenham on loan, was training with us for a little while. Conor McElhaney, he's a bit older, of course, but small and nippy. He was trialling for York yesterday, I believe. So we haven't gone. We've not been looking so far for a big unit. We have been looking for a player in a slightly different mould. I know a lot of people have spoken about Horton at Fylde. I don't believe that's got any legs in it. I've seen Jordan Rhodes' name thrown about. I don't believe that's got any legs in it. Someone's thrown a name around at some stage. I think it's Justin Abikwu, who's an under-21 for Coventry striker. I don't know whether there's any legs in that particularly, but again, I don't think it's big units we're going with. The one that sort of got my attention was Chris Con-Clark. Looks like he's on his way out at Peterborough. Would you have him?
He's only just gone there, hasn't he?
A year ago,
last season. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's certainly not anywhere in that mold, is he? He's a number 10, isn't he? He's a sort of a playmaker, goes deep. I mean, the kind of role that we were talking about before. So, I mean, he's always done well against us. I meuld not really see much of him apart from that. Yeah,
so it's going to be an interesting week to see what they go with. But obviously, that's the one area that we need to sort out. I'm expecting Waters to leave. I'm expecting possibly Kay might leave as well, just to free up a bit of space in that 22-man squad. But we're nearly there. I came away from yesterday really chilled. It was all right, wasn't it? It was fine for a first game of the season. That was all right. I remember going there opening game of the season a few years back. Whether was it Dickoff Stirling Chance? I can't remember. We got beat 2-0 and it was really bad. League One at the time. So I think we'll be okay.
We're the fire experts, fire safety experts at Pendle New Tech. We train fire marshals, fire safety marshals at Pendle New Tech. Pendle New Tech have fire experts across the UK covering all your local and national needs. With over 100 years experience in the fire safety industry, you know that you can trust Pendle New Tech.
Right, enough of that now.
If you're planning building work, you may be worried about what to do next, how to choose the right architect or builder, and have concerns about going over your budget. Bit like Mickey Mellon. Build Budget Expert offers an affordable, personalised service that can guide and support you all the way from first idea to completion, helping you stay organised and prepared at every stage, save money, and importantly, reduce stress. And for all Latics fans, there's a Build Budget Expert promotion, 10% off. Just email hello@buildbudgetexpert.com and quote, "We're on our way, we're on our way." So I think, is it a good time to go on to predictions then for where we think we're going to finish on that basis? So what, Cameron, you can represent the fans on this one. See how close you get. We've got Dave's prediction to come. He's not here, but we've got a recording. Should we start off? Let's start off with the worst prediction, which will be Dave's, and then we'll move on to the rest. Let's have a listen.
I think Oldham will finish a solid 14th this season, but I've been wrong before, and I hope I'm wrong again. And we're pushing for the playoffs, but I think a solid 14th. Cheers, guys. I have one more person who's got a prediction. What's your name?
Owen.
Where do you think we'll finish this season?
Oh, a solid 10th.
Why do you think?
Because we got decent players and we've signed a striker.
We haven't.
Yes, we have.
We haven't? Who's your favourite player?
Kean Howard.
And who else?
And Fondop.
Big Mike.
Yeah.
So 10th finish, yeah?
Yep.
So for Cameron's benefit, and because you probably didn't hear that again for whatever reason, Dave went for 14th, and his 10-year-old son Owen went for, is he 10? He might be younger than 10 actually. Went for 10th. So Cameron, you go next. Who are you more aligned with there? You kind of give us a hint earlier on before. Are you more the pessimistic Dave, or are you a bit more optimistic?
I'd like to be optimistic, but I honestly was thinking 14th before Dave's prediction came in. I just think I don't think at the moment we have enough to be consistent enough to challenge for the playoffs. But anything above 14th for me is a really good season. Now, obviously the divisions, National League and League Two, the top end of the National League is far better than the bottom end of this league. And we are far better than that. So I just think it's about consistency. I think we've got a good enough team. I just think the first season back in, we just need some stability. Just straight down the middle.
I mean, Arlene did an article for When Saturday Comes about her predictions for the season, and she went with 10th as well. So if you want to go and read that, you can find that. I think 10th to 14th is absolutely bang on. It's in that number. I'm going to go 12th, just to be different. Matt?
Right. Yeah, well, I got it absolutely spot on last season. I got 5th, so I'm definitely not going to get it right this season. But I'm going to try and project some of that into. I'm going for 7th. I'm going for that final playoff spot. I'm going for a team buoyed with the optimism, the positivity, the promotion. League Two shite. Let's not mix our words. It's not a great division. I think if we can just get that advantage in up top, I think we'll be hard to beat. The problem is, I think where we might struggle is too many draws, like from yesterday. That could be the thing that could kill us a little bit. If we can convert some of those into wins, get on a little bit of a run, be a bit luckier than we have been with injuries, get Boundary Park absolutely buzzing as often as we can. Because there's one thing for sure, we're going to be, if not the best, one of the best followed teams around the country. Our away sport will be magnificent, so I think we'll do well away from home. And if we can just try and replicate 50% of that energy against Halifax at home games, that might just give us the edge. And we'll see. We've got Accrington away on Tuesday. I'm going to go to the first ever preliminary round of the Carling Cup or whatever it's called these days. And I think it's good that game comes quickly for us, actually, innit? It gives some of the, it'll give some of the other lads a start and give them a good run out, a competitive game against a team in our division. I think there'll be as many fans, as many of our fans there as Accrington fans, to be honest, on Tuesday night. So I think we're in with a good shot of progressing to the first round proper. Be nice to get a win under our belt on Tuesday, and then Colchester. It's not a very glamorous kind of home tie back in the Football League, but just got to do the business, haven't we? After 2 games, after 3 games, because that is a competitive game on Tuesday night, and I do want to win it. I do want to get a good draw in the EFL Cup, and then a win at home against Colchester. That would be a brilliant week, wouldn't it? Brilliant week back in the Football League. So I think I'm just going into it with some belief. And 7th. Nipping in, and then Mickey Mellon knows what he's doing. Then boom, promotion back to back like buzzies. Away we go.
It's a very open division, I think, as well this year. Like, you've got, obviously everybody's predicting MK Dons to be up there because of the players they've signed and the money they've spent, and they should be up there because Paul Warne is a very good manager at this level. But if you look, my top 3 is MK Dons, Chesterfield, and Bristol Rovers. Darrell Clark being back at Bristol Rovers, and obviously Chesterfield have been building anyway. But I just think anything after that, up until the likes of like Cheltenham and Newport, Harrogate, them teams, that bank of teams from 4th to like 15th, it could be anybody's. Like, you wouldn't be surprised to see us up there, but you wouldn't. I think Notts County, for example, I think they're going to drop off. But again, they could be up there. It's just, you can't predict it. It's so difficult to predict because you've got teams coming down like Cambridge and Shrewsbury, who Shrewsbury have got a good manager, recruited fairly decently, but they could go either way. You never know with a relegated team, really, unless they go and spend big money. So it's definitely open for us and anybody.
Have you seen how Notts County are now managing, Andy? Have you seen?
Go on.
Well, Cammy, you were not in there. They're basically managing by committee, aren't they? They've got rid of like their manager, and they now have somebody else has stepped up. They've got like coaching staff, but they've also got like directors of football and the owner who owns this. Is it like a football stats company or something?
That's right. Sorry,
the details are a bit sketchy. But they're basically managing by committee. So what could possibly go wrong?
It's like they've got a head coaching, and they've said that before and after every game, the head coach is going to meet with like the director of football and everybody, and they're going to talk about how they want to play and how they should be playing and who they should be signing. So if you were a manager, why would you want that? Like, I know Maynard got them into the playoffs last season, but there were a bit of talk around him before he went that he were going to go. But if you're setting, if that's how you want to do it, fair enough. But you're basically employing a puppet. Like, what we want you to do this with these players. All right.
They're managing by committee, but guess who's going to get flirted out for doing it wrong when things aren't going right? It's all going to be on the coach, isn't it? So it's just that does not bode well at all for Notts County, I'm afraid. But
no, they've also got that striker who scored best part of 20 goals from last season once out, doesn't he? So I mean, you'd expect them they have the potential to be up there, the size of the club. But yeah, it doesn't sound. I didn't know that. That's the first time I've heard of that. Have you seen Crawley's owners, the Bitcoin people? They've got out and sold to someone else, and so Lord knows what's going to go on down there as well. They got a thumping yesterday, didn't they? I think Crawley got beat 3-0 against Grimsby, I think. So they started poorly. So yeah, I think there's a few clubs in the division that there will be a couple of basket cases, and this is the thing, isn't it? Is we're not the basket case anymore. So you sort of going into it just a bit relaxed, like, you know, we've got nice stability. We still got players to sign. You get other things like Frank got his OBE in the summer, didn't he? You know, our owner's got an OBE. They appointed a new Dame Rabina Shah. She's a dame onto the board of directors to help with the Sports Town project. Like, you're just watching stuff going in the background, going, "Oh, we're fine. We're being run properly by people who know what we're doing. We can just chill out."
Even things like, Bunker Bin Man, We have mad little things going on at our club all the time, don't we? But they're paying attention to what's going on. They're paying attention to things that are being said online. You'd be crazy to pay attention to everything that's said online, obviously. But there's the people are paying attention. Cam, I know you've got a good relationship with everybody behind the scenes at the club there, the Atleticos. Obviously, the Atleticos had their issues with previous owners and whatnot. So there is a real unity, and I think that's what's giving me that optimism that this is going to be a fairly decent season, because I think that there's a unity in the club that we've not had before. And in terms, I know what people are saying about stability on the pitch and everything, and it is a step up and everything, but. Yeah, we've not been this close knit, and we've not had a season like this for such a long time. It's got to account for something. But listen, being in the EFL is one thing. Doing well in the EFL is one thing, but it's absolutely nothing compared to doing well at Latic Mind. I mean, that is absolutely the competition to be in. Latic Mind is sponsored by Oldham Athletic Supporters Foundation, investing in the fans, the club and the community. Join today at oasf.co.uk for just £12 a year. OASF, because we're stronger together. Right, you did it last time. We were chatting about this before. You did it with Ryan last time you were on, but you did say that he didn't do any of the heavy lifting. You did all of it. So,
well, I'll give him one question because it was as obvious as it was. Just even he couldn't have got that wrong. But I think we got like 6 or 7 last time.
Yeah.
But he was heavily relying on me anyway.
Yeah. Well, you can take all the glory this time. So good luck, mate. Here we go.
Cheers.
How many goals did Latics score against Bromley in 4 games between 2022 and 2024?
1.
Correct. What colour was Latics away kit in 2019-20?
Tangerine with a bit of navy on it.
Correct. Which midfielder scored 3 of Latics' first 5 league goals in 1993-1994?
Neil Adams.
It was Paul Bernard. How many teams did Latics do the double over in 1990-1991?
8.
Correct. Who was Neil Warnock's first Latics win against?
Oh, pass.
Who was Latics' front of shirt sponsor in 2022-2023?
Was it Barcard?
Correct. Who scored Latics' goal at Halifax last season?
Mark Kitchen.
Correct. What was the score in the 2 consecutive away games at Millwall in 2016?
0-0.
Oh, we got beat 3-0 twice. Last game of the season, first game of the season.
Oh,
which ground does our last 7 results read 1-3, 0-3, 1-2, 0-1, 1-2, 1-5, and 0-2?
Oh, pass.
Who did Latics play in an indoor challenge game at the GMEX in December 1990?
Man City.
It was Baltimore Blast. Right, passes. Who was Neil Warnock's first Latics win against, Matt?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Huddersfield?
No, it was QPR, 1-0 away. Which ground does our last 7 results read 1-3, 0-3, 1-2, 0-1, 1-2, 1-5, and 0-2?
So we've beaten somebody 5-1 away. Is that what?
No. These are all losses. All losses.
Right.
1-3, 0-3, 1-2, 0-1, 1-2, 1-5, 0-2.
Oh, he's beaten us 5-1 at home.
He's won.
Oh, I don't know.
It was Anfield.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which is good. Were they the only passes, I think?
Yeah, I think so.
2 passes, yeah. Yeah, 2 passes.
So how many did he get right?
He got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think it was 5.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I counted
5
on my
correct.
hand. Yeah.
I'll say that.
No, it's
That's
a very good
start.
It's a very good score, that bit. Yeah, very good. So there we go. We've done it. We've remembered how to do a podcast just about.
Just about, yeah. It's not our smoothest bit of work.
No, well, listen. It's like turn up. Do your best. It's like the football. You'll grow into it as the season goes on.
You'll be fine.
Correct.
You'll be fine.
Correct.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. Yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just on a side note, remember the Estonian lad Nick, who did that vlog from the stands at Wembley.
Yeah.
Well, he's been in contact with me this week to say that he's bought a ticket in the Jimmy Frizzle stand for the Colchester game. So he's going to sit amongst you lot, Cameron. So I'll give him a big hello, and he's going to do another vlog from the stands.
Wonderful. I'm sure we'll pick him out.
Yeah,
well, you won't miss him. He's a right lump.
He better be just as lucky as are around the grounds, mate. However, his own club are really going through the mill, aren't they? Sheffield Wednesday at the minute, unfortunately. That's a real shame. But obviously Morecambe as well. So it's really sad. And obviously for every club that's on the up like Latics, there's always, more than one that's teetering on the edge. It's a real shame. So hopefully those things will get resolved one way or another. Well, ideally in the favour of the fans and the clubs as soon as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, lads. Well, listen, I'm bursting for a wee, and the dog is whimpering at the door because there's nobody else in, and he's a needy little get. So I think it's probably time to wrap up. Cam, you've got a dog and a daughter, a little baby girl, haven't you? Who I saw at the after the promotion party. So you've got your hands full at the best of times, absolutely. So good stuff. Thanks for joining us, mate. Appreciate having you on.
Thanks for having me on. It's been good again.
Yeah, good stuff. Andy, you'll be up for the preliminary League Cup game at Accrington on Saturday with your boys, won't you? On Tuesday with your boys, I should imagine.
Yeah, that's obviously one that I'm going to make sure I bring the kids to. No, I won't be there.
No. But I bought my ticket earlier on. I'm in the seats because the standing had sold out. So there is a real appetite for people getting to Latics games again, which is absolutely fantastic. So, long may it continue.
To the Football League to have to then qualify for the League Cup. Just Oldham all over, isn't it?
It's very unique. Barnet didn't manage it, did they? They got beat by Newport in their game. So
I mean, and then got beat at home 2-0 at Fleetwood yesterday. So it just shows you, doesn't it? I think this is one point. This is one point that you kind of referred to with Mellon before. Is Mellon knows this league and he knows how to get teams competing in the league, and maybe Barnett's ticky-tacky, passy around stuff might not work as well this time.
Yeah. Look, we trust the manager. We trust the process. We keep banging the drum for Latics, don't we, Cameron? Simple as that.
We will indeed, and hopefully we have another Wembley trip soon. Because, like you said before, Matt, hopefully it's like buses. You wait 4 years for one, and then 2 come at once.
Let's have it. Thanks a lot. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks to our sponsors.
We're the fire experts, fire safety experts at Pendle New Tech. We train fire marshals, fire safety marshals at Pendle New Tech. Pendle New Tech have fire experts across the UK covering all your local and national needs. With over 100 years experience in the fire safety industry, you know that you can trust Pendle New Tech.
Right, enough of that now.
And we'll see you for the phone-in on Thursday. Thanks a lot, everyone. Bye.
Hey, Dave, did you know that listeners can now buy us a coffee or any other kind of hot beverage?
Ooh.
What's your favourite hot beverage, Dave?
A macchiato.
And how do you like your macchiato?
Black with lots of milk. Oh.
No cream?
No.
Well, if you want to buy Dave
macchiato,
then go to buymeacoffee.com/We Are Oldham. I'll just have a Nescafe.
Ooh. Thank you, listeners.